welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for being here. Today is a bonus video doing a quick flip through of this Keepsake Memories journal that was a custom order. It measures 9.5 by 6.5 with a 2-inch spine with 2 signatures. Now, I have shown a video of how I put the cover together if you want to pop back and have a look at that. I can't put the photo on show here because who it's for, it's a family photo. So what I did though is I took one of the fancy book covers from Ruby and Pearl and cut the middle out, and I use this pale pink one. So you just cut the middle out, and then I put the photo in there and backed it with a cabinet card backing from Sample. So that will go in there. Now, if I open up the chiffon that I've tied it up with, and you can see there's lots of pretty sari silk, different colour pinks, and there is some black and white, black and cream dotted as well inside. Now I'll open up and we have the glassine bag folio that we made in a video the other day that has various pieces of ephemera in. Here she wanted vintage but coordinated, so I'm hoping this works. It's the Keepsake freebie kit from My Porch Prints, and I bought the add-on kit to go with it ages ago, and again I think it was last year it came out. I haven't used it, now I have. And this is a page from the kit that I've stuck onto tea dye paper. Most of the ephemera is from the kit. There's a few little pieces that may not be. These are from the kit, and I made a little tuck spot. There's a tag with some of that black and cream dotted polka dot sari silk. I had a scrap of sari silk over, and I put a button, glued a button onto it. Page from the kit. These are pages from the kit that I've printed 2 to a page, and then this is just a writing space. I haven't glued it together or anything, but what I've done is I glued a small piece of ephemera on, and then it just hooks over the page like that. So it gives a bit of added interest on here. Page from the kit with a vintage napkin, or I'm not sure if it's a napkin. Yes, I think they were napkins. And this one I have glued together as a journal card. This idea, I'm not sure, I think it was Raindrop Lila, it's not my idea, but I've punched 3 holes, reinforced them and put some sari silk, tied some sari silk through them, some pink dotted sari silk, and then these are 3 tags, and I've added some little roses like this throughout, and these are from the kit as well. Did like them, and I've added some vintage lace onto some of the pockets. Page from the kit, and then this is from the Shop My Stash 2026 index cards that we made. I've just put that into the tuck spot there. Bit of rose there, as you can see, and a little small rose cluster there. Embossed vellum, page from the kit, some from the railway book from the 50s, some vintage music paper, and a really old piece of vintage ledger from 1829. And in here I've got one of the circles cut out from the kit and a tag. I've put some roses and sari silk on the top there. Page from the kit. This was done through a stencil. I need to do more. This was done last year sometime. Sari silk ruffle with one of the roses. German, I've forgotten the name of the script. Anyway, very old German script. A vintage book page. Another, I love this colour, vintage book page. And in here I've slipped in one of those pages from the kit that I've shrunk as a journal card, and then these came with the kit as well, so I've sort of made them a bit more vintage as much as I could. and they're printed on glossy photo paper. Bit of lace stuck in there, page from the kit, and the middle where I've put in a couple of hearts on the end of the strings. This got slightly torn, so I've put some of my faux vintage tape on there. And then this is a belly band, and on here again one of those Polaroids on the glossy paper. I've put this as a plain tag, and I've put a little pull out at the top, and these just fit in there like that. The reverse pages from the vintage papers. Gothic writing, that's what that's called, Gothic writing, Bolero. The stenciled page, page from the kit, the vintage ledger, and the vintage music paper, and the railway book. I do love this writing. You don't see that so much now, do you? That neat writing. Page from the kit, the vellum page, and then this is just a turnover from one of the vintage pages. Get that off. And again, two of the smaller pages I've made into journal cards and just clipped in with a little mini clip there. This is glued onto here, and that is backed as well. Page from the kit, another pocket with some vintage lace and a big tag, some of the polka dot again, and smaller tag. I do like how this sort of, you can see that down the side there. Some of the sari silk again, page from the kit, tea-dyed paper that's been flipped over with some lace on. And this was a page from the kit that I'd printed wrongly on the other side, so I just made it into a tall big journal card for on here. Page from the kit, this I made the other day with the index card Shop My Stash. You can pop back and see that as well, and that just clips on, it's a flip on the page with various pieces of ephemera in. Then the second signature, again I've done the same thing, taken a page and stuck it to the tea-dyed paper, pocket at the front here, and on here I've stapled some toile, French toile fabric on there, and then another large tag there. That is also a tuck spot, which I will get a piece here. In fact, that would have looked quite nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's also a tuck spot. That could be a journal card in something else. Embossed vellum, page from the kit, up tuck, again with those pages, and another napkin there that I've sewn onto the page. Railway book. This is a document, I tried to find the date once before and I couldn't find it on it. French document, original. This is beautiful handwriting. And then a page from the kit, some tea-dyed paper, some French book page, and in here I've put, take that off, some original ephemera. A loving greetings from over the sea, because especially as I'm living in Spain, and this is going to this woman's daughter in the UK. The Gothic page again, and then there's this, which was at an end of a book, and yes, it's very old and eaten, not eaten, but faded, but it's plain on the other side. And I also thought she could put a photo on here and then write on the back what it is. And here again, she could put a photo on here if she wanted to. And then I've used some of the pink and grey or pink and brown toile I've got as well. There. And page from the kit. A stencil page with some of those spray stains on a tea-dyed paper. Page from the kit, the Gothic writing. This is a small pocket from the kit with various little tags in here. It is a lovely kit, I will say. Put a butterfly on with some bling. Another vintage page of that gorgeous paper. And a tag from the kit. And a journal card from the kit. And I've put a vintage stamp on there. And a small tag. and then I just put a collage onto there of some bottles. Page from the kit, an envelope. This has nothing in. This has got a label from Paper Cameo Botanical Labels, another ruffle with a rosebud, and then we come to the middle with further hearts on the strings as well. Tea dye paper. Again, I've put some of that pink and brown-ish sepia toile on there, paper, and another belly band with some vintage lace down, and a journal card, and then another Polaroid from the kit, and another one of these. This should just pull out. These paper clips are very stiff. I mean, it's just beautiful pages, I will say. But again, she could put photos on them. There's room here for writing or photos, or you know, and more writing, a photo with a lot of writing about it. There's plenty of room to put photos and write. Another ruffle with a rosebud, page from the kit, another side tuck, and this has got a piece of just the Swiss dot tool on, and these are just journal cards from the kit as well that I've just tucked in there. Whoops, that's better that way. And then this is a flip out page like this, and it does have a pocket here, if you can see, I hope. Flips there, opens up there. You can do what you like, photos, but it also has a pocket up here in there as well, and then it can flip like that again. Some, as I say, I've left some empty for her. Page from the kit, that manuscript which I still can't see a date on, the railway book, page from the kit, and then a pocket at the end here with 4 tags, the rose tag in here, the brown and white one, and just smaller ones. And I love these ones that are cut out like that as well. And then the embossed vellum, and then the last pocket has in here, this was the back of it's a pocket I showed you in the last video, and this was the back of it, so I've just turned it into a journal card to go in there, along with a tag and another smaller tag. And that's the end. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. It'd be great if you came along with me. Thank you once again. Bye.